What's good, everybody? So let me speak on this chosen one thing again. I told y'all how you know if you a chosen one is when you had them near death experiences, y'all. Okay, and those spiritual gifts. And a lot of y'all out there are chosen ones, but just aren't ready to accept that. And first, I'm gonna jump in and tell y'all I was playing with a video game in an attic back in the day, and I'll never forget the video game wasn't acting right. So I opened up the back of the TV, which is one of them old school UHF, VHF with the dials. You got to tune it like that. Old boob tube TVs. I opened up the back of it to try to make my RF switch work right on a Nintendo, and I'll never forget. And keep in mind, I believe why I did this, because I would never do this, never do this. And why I did it back in the day is because I was being led to knowing what my gifts were. But back then, I wasn't worried about or thinking about being a chosen one. I know now why I did this. Okay, so I opened up the back of this TV, and a circuit board was here, and my hand got this close to it. I put my hand this close to the back of the circuit board, and it sucked my hand to the back of the TV. I'll never forget my body just rising up, and I'm feeling this surge go through my body. I was being electrocuted, y'all. My brother was standing next to me. There wasn't nothing he could do. If he would have even touched me, he would have been right there with me, and we'd have both probably been fried. But all he could do was sit there and watch. I'm going to tell y'all, when I did touch the back of this TV, I didn't see him. I didn't see nothing. All I saw was bright, white, goldish, glowing light all around me. It wasn't painful. I didn't feel no pain, but I felt the let me say this to y'all. I felt the electricity. I'm getting chills. I felt the electricity going through my body, going through every inch of my body. And I don't know how long it lasted. All I know is that eventually my hand came off of it. My brother looking at me, he thought I was gone. He said I should have been gone as long as I was on there about 25, somewhere around there, 25 seconds. The average person touch a socket, you gone. You dropping right then and there, just a zap, and you drop. He said I was on there for about 20-something seconds. And I remember taking my hand off, and I seen like 25 to maybe 30 little holes in my hand from a circuit board. So you could imagine your little burnt skin, polka dot holes on your hand from touching and getting electrocuted. And I remember how my hand was on there. And my hand was only like that for one day, and it was healed back to normal looking like this. So, you know, that was just one time. And in a time when I was a kid, I was playing with a BMX 20-inch bike, and everybody was outside, and they all had their bikes. And I'll never forget putting this piece of metal in the end of the handlebars like it was a set of keys for a dirt bike. And then my hand slipped off, and it slipped my arm right here. Y'all see that? Slipped my arm, and I'll never forget. I didn't feel nothing. I did feel heat. That's all I felt was heat on my right arm. And then all the kids start screaming, and then I'm looking at them, and then they made me look at my arm. And when I seen my arm, then I started screaming. There was no pain. Y'all, I couldn't understand. I didn't feel no pain. There was none. I saw my blood vessels. I was told that them was my blood vessels. My grandmother got a whiff of it. I ran over the shoulder, and she looked and was like, when I say she got a whiff of it, she got a whiff of all the kids screaming and wondering what was going on. And then I ran over there, and she looked, and she ran and grabbed some towels, wrapped it around my arm because she thought I was bleeding, but she saw that wound, the pink and the red, ran my arm under the sink. And I'll never forget looking at my grandmother, and she said, everything's going to be okay, and we got to get him to the hospital. He definitely needs some stitches. Had to go to Jefferson Hospital, but she running my water under the sink, y'all. Keep in mind that she running my arm under the sink, y'all. When she said it doesn't hurt, you don't. It's gonna be okay, y'all. There was no pain, y'all. She took the rag off of there after she rinsed my arm off. My arm stopped bleeding. There was no blood. There was no blood. Now I think the only reason why there was no blood is because I stopped it from bleeding by saying, stop, please stop, please stop. And it stopped bleeding, and the towel was soaked in a little bit of blood. And We got to the hospital. They gave me Novocaine. I'll never forget my first time ever being introduced to Novocaine and knowing what Novocaine was. It numbs so you don't feel no pain, and just where they got to do surgery or stitches on you as a kid. I was a kid. And they gave me 17 stitches. 17 stitches, y'all. I remember going back to the doctor, getting them stitches taken out, and they left one in there. Pieces. I remember them getting cut. They said it's not going to hurt, but it is going to itch because it's healing. And there's something else I got to tell y'all. Back in the day, my grandfather had this garden, and on the opposite side of the garden, there was this long tree that grew up out of the ground, and then it slanted like this, and it just shot straight out like that. As a kid, we wandered off doing crazy things. I stumbled into the woods, and I saw these green things to me which looked like grapes. They was about that big, grapevine, and I know it's not that hot to grow these kinds of things and on the East Coast, and or maybe there is. But it's a strange story because my grandfather had apple trees. They had mulberry trees. We had cherry trees and apple trees. And they had a full-blown garden, 2-house lot garden. I remember being in there, and when I saw these things, y'all, there was some so low I could pick them and eat them. I would pick them off of the vine, looked at them, bit it. It was sour. I started piling them on. I'm tearing them up. My soul told me that these was green grapes. I'm eating them, y'all. Keep them. I'm getting chills saying this. They were really not green grapes. They were like this big. That tree, I could take y'all to this tree one day, and that's exactly what I'm going to do when the weather warm up. I'm going to show y'all this tree, and I want to show y'all this tree in the winter. And then once I show y'all this tree in the winter, you could probably imagine what it looked like in the summer. I don't want to go in there in the summer. We did all of that. We was younger. It's snakes and stuff all around now. So with young bucks, we didn't care about all of that. Or it just, we wasn't even thinking about the dangers of being young that were out there. So I never forget telling my grandmother, where you been? It's dinner time. I said, I ain't hungry. And she was saying, well, why you out there? I told her I was eating grapes. And she said, boy, you call me by my nickname. There ain't no grapes here. Grocery store. And we grew up eating fruits off of the trees back in the day. Not too many trees like that now, but back then we were. But she told me you weren't eating no grapes. So I remember showing the adults the tree that I got these from. And when I went back to go look at these, y'all, they weren't green grapes. As a matter of fact, they weren't even on the tree anymore. They weren't there. And I had just came from eating them, and I couldn't have ate a whole vine going all the way up. It was millions of them. But they weren't there when I went back. I was a young buck. We riding, and tell y'all about these gifts. I'm riding, and y'all call this a gift if you want to. If not, oh well. The gift of movement, to be able to change movement at any given time, like I told y'all with the fish. And you don't pick up on it. Well, back then I didn't pick up on it. It didn't dawn on me. I'm just a little kid thinking I'm a BMX stunt rider. We riding bikes, and they built in a new school in the city I grew up in. There was about 10 of us riding BMX bikes. There was this one jump everybody was afraid of, and I said, man, let me hit this. And I wasn't a daredevil, y'all, but I would never forget starting off. We all in the line, and we starting off, and then I come down and I come up to go hit the jump. And when I hit this jump, I've jumped on many brick-made ramps in the street before, dirt mounds, y'all. But about as high as a stop sign, the top of a stop sign at your average corner, is how high this bike elevated. When I hit this jump, it wasn't just gravity and me hitting the jump. I made the bike go higher. It was almost like I suspended myself in the air. I took gravity away. I even felt weightless. The bike went up in the air. It kept going up in the air. It kept going up in the air. Mentally, I wasn't even thinking about how high I was. And then I made it come down with a soft cushion landing and rode off. And I turned around, hit the brakes, and I looked back, and they all just looking at me. Bike stopped. They never hit the ramp. And then they start hitting the jump, and they all jumping like this. But mine was like way up here. And they coming, they said, man, did you blah, 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 the air boom, how did you that? I don't know, I was a kid. So not last summer, my son and me was on the porch, and I'm going to tell you about the energy and the powers that we possess and the manifestation of things. Be careful, because a lot of people do not know that they can manifest anything that they want. We were sitting on the porch, and, it was dead of summer, about to be July. And they were talking about tornado alerts. And in the area that we live in, you don't get tornadoes. They get tornadoes out in the flat parts of PA, Me and my son is out on the porch, and I'm looking up, and I told him something's not right here. He looked at me, he said, I think I know what you mean. And we both sitting there, and we just stopped talking, and we both just had focus on this one section of the sky. And I'll never forget, we manifested this high wind tornado to come directly at us. Now, keep in mind, y'all, you didn't see the tornado. You just saw the winds because of the dirt blowing in the air. And then all of a sudden, right in front of us, right across the street, we both said, go. Boom. The winds cracked the trees, cracked that tree, cracked the tree, knocked it over, blocked the street. And we ran in the house. The door stayed open. Ran back to try to close it. I said, we got to hit the basement. I'm going to leave it at that. This one right here is, premonition, y'all, of the chosen ones. The visions that we see in the realms that we go to. A lot of people don't take heed to them. There is a path. I was in this realm, this dream realm. Everything was laid out the same way it is in real life. There's this path we used to take coming from this old school, coming up from where I lived at. And it was a path to go to school. So coming up through this path, now I wasn't in school then, but I'm just talking about the path. We walk in this path, and I'll never forget, as we walked past the church, across the street, the alleyway, and then walk into another field, and the church actual house is right to the right of us. But before that is a dumpster. I'll never forget walking right directly past this dumpster, and a friend of mine, which is my dad's friend, crawls out of this dumpster. And I looked at him, and he said, how the brother doing? I said, oh, what's up? And I thought nothing of it, y'all, him crawling out of this dumpster. He said, how the brother doing? I said, I'm good, bruh. He said, you want to go grab a 40? And I said, cool, let's go ahead. Let's go grab a beer. Come on. And as he got closer to me, he's doing this. And I noticed what he was knocking off his body, y'all. I don't want to freak none of y'all out. He was knocking maggots off of his body. He didn't smell or nothing. I'm just telling you, he came out of the dumpster. Normally, when you smell that kind of stuff on food, it'd make you sick, but it wasn't like that. It's just he knocked him off. He had on clean clothes. He was sharp, clean clothes, clean cut, knocked him off, and we rolling. I woke up, told some people about that dream. But let me tell y'all something that wasn't a dream, because I'm going to tell y'all why I had that premonition and didn't even know until a month later. A month later after having that dream, it was summertime. My brother and I was in some woods, and we had heard this loud animal growl. and didn't know what it was, thought it was a bear or something. I immediately, let off my tool thinking it was a bear. Bang, bang. And then we ran. I snapped pictures on the way out of there. Got back to the house and blew the pictures up that we took. There was this holographic face hovering over these woods. And I'll never forget all the faces in the background of this picture. My brother seen it. A few other people seen it. And they was like, wow, I'm at loss for words. It was a holographic face hovering over these woods in this pyramid-shaped path. You can go this way or that way. And it was strange. Till this day, I got the picture. I'm going to post that picture in the end of this video. What's crazy is, y'all, is another month after that post, the picture that we took, and after that dream I had, the news came on in real life and said they had found somebody unalived. And he must have been gone for a long time. He must have been dead for a long time. And they found out who he was because of a military ID number in his arm from a surgery that he had when he was in the Army. And he was identified as my dad's friend and a friend of mine too. And that growl that I heard in the woods, my brother and I, the dude used to do that every time he drank a beer or he done eating his food, and he'll just, and I never forget my father telling him, do you have to growl? And he said, it relaxes me. So that's what the man did. He used to growl. That growl was confirmation from him telling us, I'm gone, that's me. That holographic face, that was him in that picture. I'm gonna leave that one alone. Another thing, there was another realm I was in, y'all, another premonition. I hope my camera don't cut off. I was watching the news in this dream, and I said, oh, I got to get ready for work. So I'm getting ready for work, and then I had to run back to go watch the news again because it said they had found somebody shot and killed in my local neighborhood. And I wanted to watch the news. I kept telling them on, I got to watch the news. I want to see the recap. I want to hear who they found shot in the neighborhood. I'll never forget hearing boom, and I woke up. Y'all know I keep telling y'all that one time recently, I kept dozing off and I kept hearing gunshots. This was recent too. But in this dream realm, I heard gunshots. Then I woke up. Y'all, listen to me. What would y'all say if I told y'all when I woke up, I had went to work. I heard that gunshot. Got to work, and my homie said, man, didn't you hear? And I'm like, what, man? So-and-so got killed. He got taken out of here. And I'm like, what? And I told him what happened. He said, no, are you serious? I said, yeah, man. Had a dream that I had to see who got shot on the news. I was concerned, and it said somebody, and shit you not, that same morning, that's what happened. The media had to, oh, y'all, it's crazy. Crazy, y'all. And the last one I'm going to tell y'all is, do y'all remember when I told y'all you got gifts? And the chosen ones got them gifts. Riding down the car with my dad in the car, brother. We in the back seat. My dad in the front seat with his homie. He got sunglasses on. He doing about 80 to 60 mile an hour flying down River Road. He get to the railroad crossing by the Boswell, and I immediately see him veer off the road, going straight onto the train tracks. Then I woke up like that. So I was daydreaming in the car. I had that premonition. 300 feet before that, I mentally said to myself, I got to get out of here. Something said, get out of this car. You know what's going to happen. So I didn't tell my dad to tell his buddy to slow down. His name was Mr. Bunny. I don't know why they called him Mr. Bunny. But 100 feet before the tracks, I jumped out this car, y'all, the back seat of this car. 60-something mile an hour. The car veered straight off the road into the train tracks. Car was sitting on the rails. I'll never forget hearing a train. Rah, rah, rah. It's probably 200 two football fields away. And then I come running up there where my dad and them is, and we had to hurry up and get the car back onto the road. We pushing. So I told my dad, no, you get in. Me and Bunny will push. He said, no, me and you will. So anyway, y'all, we got the car back onto the road and off the tracks just in time. And then my dad said, how did you know that? I said, I seen that coming. I just left it alone. I seen it coming, y'all. I seen it coming. This last one was kind of crazy. I used to drive garbage truck for one of my other jobs, and I had this thrower helper. He's a good dude, you know, really real safe dude. Always let you know if the truck ain't doing what it's supposed to be doing, and we out on the route, because he knew the route, and he was a really good worker. You know, the truck was overpacked. He wanted to pack the truck out. We get on this slope, and right before the alley that we need to pick up, it does one of these on the road. So we got to come off a road to turn down in this alley like. But if you do this, the truck's going to go. He said, I got you, but we're going to go. Let's go. Let's go. Come on. Come on. He jumps out. He up front. He telling me, come on, come on, come on, come on. And I'm easing up and I'm easing up. And then when the front driver wheel go off down to start to go into the alley, I felt the ass end of his truck tip to the left. It was almost doing a seesaw, like tip, 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 tip. My stomach fell, and I'll never forget his face as he telling me to go, but he didn't want me to go. It was almost like he made a mistake, but he was like, the safety, he knew but I know the truck. But I trusted him. He said, come on, come on, come on. Now, most people would say if you just go with the momentum, it'll keep the truck. No, if I would have just gunned it, that truck would have went. There was nothing stopping it. If I had to stop, that force from going forward would have threw the truck over into somebody's house and garage and crushed their car. We had over 14 ton in this truck. We were packed out. But when this truck tipped up, this is what I'm getting at. He looked like all of this went to this, and I told the truck, down, stay down. Y'all, this truck went like this. It's almost like somebody put their hand on the back of the truck, and I cruised on out. And then he was like, that means stop. He ran and jumped up in the truck and was like, man, I thought that was over. I thought it was over. And I didn't say nothing to him. I said, let's just get this day over with. Y'all, I just thought I'd share them chosen ones with y'all. I'll check back at y'all later. But I'm definitely going to post that picture of that holographic face of my dad's homie. I know that was his spirit. That was his spirit. Lord, y'all stay blessed.